Hey there, insomniacs and curiosity addicts. Tonight, we're ditching pillows, Wi-Fi, and dignity to drop you straight into the Ice Age. That's right, no castles, no knights, no medieval soup. Just you, a fur blanket soaked in mammoth juice, and a tribe of Neanderthals who definitely don't believe in personal space. Forget survival skills, you don't even have shoes. This isn't a dream. It's a prehistoric panic attack. But hey, before your feet freeze off, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. Only if you're into brutally honest bedtime history. Drop your time zone in the comments. It's always fun to see who's suffering with us. Now dim those lights. Maybe light a candle if you're feeling primal, and let's begin. Welcome to a time when fire was earned, hygiene was imaginary, and being the weird-smelling outsider could get you eaten. You've just woken up in a Neanderthal camp. You wake up in a place that feels wrong. It's cold, not the kind of cold you expect from winter, but a deep, biting cold that surrounds your entire body. Your bed is gone. Your home is gone. In fact, everything familiar is missing. You're lying on a rough stone surface, covered in animal hides that offer little warmth. As you sit up, you hear a low grunt from the shadows. You're in a cave, and someone, or something, is already awake. The figure near the fire is a Neanderthal. He watches you carefully, as if unsure whether you belong here. You've somehow arrived in the Paleolithic era, around 50,000 years ago. There are no houses, no modern comforts, and certainly no safety. You try to stand, but your feet touch ice-cold rock and bits of bone scattered across the floor. Your spine creaks with the effort, and you realize this will not be an easy day. Around you are others, members of a small group who call this cave home. They wear thick furs and move with quiet purpose. One of them plucks a flea from their arm. Another tends to the fire. You try not to attract attention, but you already feel out of place. There is no running water, no privacy, no sound except the wind outside and the fire crackling. You sit in silence, overwhelmed by how far you are from your world. The smell in the cave is difficult to describe. A mix of smoke, damp earth, unwashed fur, and cooked meat. It is heavy and inescapable. A child watches you from behind a pile of stones. You sneeze, and the group turns. For a moment, there's silence. Then, the Neanderthal beside you offers a charred root. You accept it without a word. It is bitter and difficult to chew, but it is food, and food here is survival. You look around again. The walls are rough and stained with smoke. The fire provides light, but no comfort. There is no furniture, only stones and furs. You can't remember the last time you felt this vulnerable. You want to ask questions, but words seem useless. Language here is made of gestures, expressions, and trust earned through shared struggle. You sit still and try to breathe slowly, pretending not to be afraid. A Neanderthal next to you grunts softly and hands you a smooth bone. It might be a gift or a tool, you're not sure. You nod politely. He nods back. It's a simple exchange, but it means something. Maybe acceptance, maybe curiosity. Either way, you're still here. In this cave, among these people, in a world that feels like it should not exist. You've survived the first few minutes of the Ice Age. For now, Chapter 2. Your bed is a rock, literally. As your senses adjust to the cold, you begin to understand where you spent the night. Your bed, if you can call it that, is a large, uneven slab of rock. It's covered with animal hides that offer more smell than softness. The fur is damp in places, stiff in others, and definitely not clean. You shift slightly and feel the sharp edge of stone pressing into your back. Every muscle aches. Sleep here is not for rest, it is for survival. There is no pillow, no blanket, no concept of comfort. The fire you fell asleep near has faded to glowing embers, and the chill in the air cuts through even the thickest furs. You curl up instinctively, trying to conserve heat. Around you, others are still sleeping. Some are snoring. One adult rests with a hand on a child's chest, both wrapped in the same hide. It's quiet, aside from the wind howling beyond the cave entrance. You sit up slowly. The cold floor bites into your skin. Beneath you, the stone is damp. Near your foot lies a pile of ashes from last night's fire. You realize the cave doesn't just feel like stone, it smells like it too. Like damp rock and lingering smoke. You glance toward the entrance. A thin stream of morning light has begun to filter in. The day is beginning, and with it comes the expectation that you, too, will rise and contribute. The idea of staying on this stone and pulling the furs tighter is tempting, but that's not how things work here. If you lie down too long, you become a burden. Burdens don't last. The tribe moves with purpose, even when exhausted. Everyone has a role: to hunt, to gather, to guard. You have no role yet. That makes you vulnerable. You brush some dust from your clothes, which are stiff from smoke and sweat. Nothing is clean here. There is no place to wash, no soft place to sit, no privacy. You slept in the same space where people eat, sharpen tools, and sometimes give birth. The cave is everything: shelter, workshop, and bedroom all in one. As you stretch, your joints pop loudly. A few heads turn, then look away. No one speaks, but you can feel the silent message. Get up, keep moving, stay useful. Even your rest is measured against your effort. You run a hand across the wall of the cave. It's damp, ridged, and cold. Marks from ancient tools are scratched into the stone. Perhaps decorations, perhaps memories. You wonder how many people have slept on this same patch of ground. How many lives have passed through here? You stand fully now, spine sore, feet aching, but upright. You've left the bed behind. And in this world, that's all it takes to survive one more morning. Chapter 3: Morning Breath of Death. As you begin to move about the cave, one unpleasant truth becomes painfully clear. Your mouth feels awful. Dry, bitter, and thick, as if you slept with a piece of old leather between your teeth. There's no toothpaste, no mouthwash, not even a cloth to wipe your tongue. Hygiene here is not a priority. You breathe out, slowly. The smell hits you first. A mix of meat, smoke, and something sour you can't quite place. You close your mouth again, embarrassed by your own breath. Around you, no one seems to notice or care. The others are rising from their sleeping spots with groggy movements. Grunts replace words. A child scratches his head lazily, then picks something from his scalp. A woman nearby drinks from a shallow stone bowl, rinses her mouth, and spits onto the cave floor. That, apparently, is the closest thing to a morning routine. You wonder what they think of your habits, or if they think of them at all. You search for something, anything, that could help you feel clean. But there's nothing. The tribe doesn't own personal belongings. A piece of bark, a bone, maybe a strip of leather. These are tools, not comforts. The idea of brushing your teeth would seem strange here. Instead, food scraps remain stuck between molars. Plaque is permanent. And breath? It's just part of the air everyone breathes. Still, you feel the need to do something. You try swishing a bit of water around your mouth, scooped from a wooden bowl. It's cold and tastes like ash and soil. You gag slightly but force it down. No one reacts. You've drawn no attention. In a world like this, everyone is more concerned with warmth and food than dental health. Pain is expected. Discomfort is normal. Cleanliness is an occasional accident. You feel a rough sensation in your gums, like something sharp or swollen. You touch your cheek and wince. There's no mirror to check, no floss to help. If something's wrong, it will simply remain wrong until it worsens, or you adapt. You imagine what happens when someone here gets a real toothache. The answer? They suffer. There's no dentist, no relief, only endurance. You now realize that good dental care is a modern luxury, not a basic human condition. A Neanderthal beside you coughs, spits, and yawns loudly. He glances at you, then reaches for a chunk of meat and begins to chew. Morning breath is not a concern here. Survival is. You sit back against the cave wall and exhale slowly, letting go of the discomfort. No one here expects freshness. What matters is that you're awake, alive, and willing to face the day. You've survived the morning. even if your breath hasn't. Chapter 4. Fire Maintenance or Freeze to Death. The fire in the center of the cave is now little more than a quiet glow. Thin wisps of smoke curl toward the ceiling, mixing with the cold that has crept in during the night. A few coals remain, glowing faintly, but the heat is fading. You didn't know it was your job to feed the fire. No one told you. But now, every eye in the cave has turned toward it, and then toward you. You were the one nearest to it last night, which makes it your responsibility. A Neanderthal elder rises slowly and adds a few dried twigs to the embers. He breathes carefully onto the coals. Nothing catches. He tries again, and smoke grows. Another member brings in a small branch stripped of leaves. Together, they rebuild the fire. No anger is shown, but you feel the weight of their glances. You've made a mistake. Here, warmth isn't optional. It's a lifeline. Without it, people suffer. Without it, people die. You glance toward the cave entrance. Frost laces the stones. Wind whistles faintly outside. This is not a season of comfort. This is survival weather. One poorly tended fire can mean sickness, or worse. You look at the bundle of sticks you slept beside and realize now, that wasn't a pillow. That was kindling. You used it for your own comfort while the fire slowly died. No one will punish you, but no one will trust you yet either. A younger boy crouches beside you and shows you how to place a handful of dry moss beneath the wood. He gestures toward a piece of flint and a worn rock. You watch as he strikes the flint against the stone, sparks flying into the moss. It smokes, then glows. Carefully, he blows. Flames flicker. It's slow, steady, practiced. You're being shown how to try, not out of kindness, but because next time, you'll be expected to know. You take the tools and try yourself. The stone is colder than expected. Your hands are stiff. You strike the flint. Once, twice, again. Nothing. A fourth try, and a spark catches. It grows, briefly, then fades. You keep going. Eventually, the moss smolders. A flame appears. It's small, fragile, but it's real. You add a twig. The flame grows. Around you, no one claps. No one speaks. But they see it. You've contributed. That matters. As the fire rises again, warmth returns to the cave. The group resumes their quiet movements. Someone begins slicing meat. Another sharpens a stone tool. You sit by the fire, feeling its heat now as more than comfort. It's connection. It's shared effort. You didn't just light fire. You stepped closer to being part of something. And in this world, where warmth means survival, that might be the most important thing of all. Chapter 5. Your outfit is a crime. As the fire grows and the cave warms, you finally notice what you're wearing, or rather, what you're wrapped in. Thick layers of animal hide are draped over your body, held together with sinew, bone pins, and hope. The texture is coarse, uneven, and slightly damp. It smells like old fur and smoke. There are stains you can't identify, and patches that seem to be stitched together from different animals. This isn't clothing. It's survival gear. There is no sizing, no tailoring. The garments are shaped by necessity, not comfort. They hang awkwardly on your frame. One shoulder is more exposed than the other, and your legs feel unevenly wrapped. Movement is difficult, and when you shift, something scratches against your side. It's a bone clasp, carved, maybe decorated, but sharp enough to remind you not to move carelessly. This is clothing that works. That's all it needs to do. You glance around the cave. Others are similarly dressed. Thick layers of furs, animal skins, leather strips, each set unique, functional, and weather-worn. One man wears what looks like wolf hide. A child's cloak might be rabbit. Some garments are softened with age. Others are cracked and stiff. Everyone looks prepared for cold and hardship. No one looks clean. You begin to realize that looking clean here might actually be suspicious. You feel something crawling beneath the hide near your collar. You flinch instinctively and reach up. A small insect scurries away. You brush it off quickly, heart racing, but no one reacts. You look around. One woman is picking at her hair. Another uses a sharp twig to scratch her back beneath the fur. The tribe doesn't expect cleanliness. They expect endurance. Fleas, lice, and discomfort are part of the uniform. You try to adjust your wrappings and discover a section that has come loose. The fur folds back, revealing your skin to the cold. You fumble awkwardly to tie it again, but the knots are unfamiliar. Your fingers ache. A young girl sees you struggling. Without speaking, she walks over and tightens the cords for you. She does it quickly, effortlessly. Then she walks away. You nod a silent thank you. In this world, actions speak louder than words. Now dressed, or at least wrapped, you stand slowly. The hides creak slightly as you move. You can feel your body adapting, not to comfort, but to discomfort. The clothes are heavy, itchy, and uneven, but they are protection. From the cold, from the forest, from everything that waits outside this cave. You may not look like much, but here, how you look doesn't matter. What matters is whether your clothes help you survive the next day. Chapter 6. The Breakfast Problem. Your stomach growls, a deep, hollow sound that echoes inside you like a warning bell. You haven't eaten since, well, whenever your modern body last had access to food. And here, there is no morning routine involving cereal, coffee, or anything resembling a balanced meal. Breakfast in the Ice Age isn't about flavor. It's about staying alive. You glance toward the fire where something is cooking, if you can call it that. A thick, blackened pot sits over the flames. Inside is a mixture that looks more like mud than food. You watch as someone stirs it with a wooden stick. The smell is earthy, sour, and faintly burnt. One of the elders dips a bone into the pot and tastes it. Then he nods. That's the signal. Breakfast is ready. No plates, no spoons, just hollowed-out bowls made from wood or bone. A few are passed around. One is handed to you. You peer into the bowl. The contents are thick, grayish, and steaming. It's a stew, or something like it, made from foraged roots, herbs, scraps of dried meat, and possibly the remains of last night's fire. You take a bite. It's bitter, with a gritty texture that sticks to your teeth. But it's warm, and your body doesn't care about taste. It cares that food is entering your system. So you keep eating, slowly, carefully. Beside you, others eat quickly. No one talks. Meals aren't for conversation. They're for fueling the day. A small child gnaws on a piece of dried meat that looks older than anything you'd consider edible. Another person breaks off a chunk of what might be root or bone marrow and chews silently. There's no complaining, no comparisons, just a quiet understanding. Food is survival, and survival is everything. You chew another bite and try not to think about what you're eating. You focus on the warmth it gives, the fullness it slowly builds, the energy you know you'll need. Around you, others are already finishing. Some rinse their bowls in a corner stream. Some save bits in leather pouches. Nothing is wasted. Even the scraps are kept for snacks, for children, or for days when hunting fails. Waste is not a concept here. It's a risk. You place your bowl aside. You've eaten enough to quiet your hunger, even if you don't feel satisfied. But you've passed another test. You've accepted their food, eaten without complaint, and adapted to one more piece of this strange world. The day has begun, and so has the work. There is no time for rest. No second meal. Just movement, effort, and the hope that you'll live long enough to eat again tomorrow. Chapter 7. Social Anxiety, Neanderthal Edition. You've eaten, you're dressed, and the fire is burning again. For a moment, you almost feel like you belong. But then you make the mistake of looking up and locking eyes with someone across the cave. A Neanderthal with broad shoulders and a heavy brow stares back at you. You don't mean to challenge him, but apparently, eye contact here isn't casual. It's a message, one you didn't mean to send. He grunts. You try to look away politely, but it's too late. The moment has passed. You've triggered something, not quite a fight, but certainly a test. He walks toward you, not fast, not slow, just direct. He stops a few feet away and says nothing. The others pause what they're doing and watch. You're unsure what's expected. Should you speak? stand, run. Instead, you do the only thing that seems safe. You nod. He nods back. Then he grunts once more and walks away. Just like that, the moment ends. You exhale, but your heart is racing. You've just passed a social trial by instinct. No words, no rules, just posture, timing, and silence. Here, everything is communicated through action and expression. No one shakes hands. No one says hello. Respect is earned through restraint, observation, and participation. The Neanderthal group is tight-knit. Everyone knows each other's habits, roles, and moods. You're still an unknown. That makes you unpredictable, and in this world, unpredictable is dangerous. You notice how they move, not hurried, but purposeful. They don't waste effort on small talk. Every movement, every sound carries weight. Even laughter, when it happens, is brief and private. You begin to mimic what you see. You keep your eyes low, your movements slow. You copy how they sit, how they stand, how they handle tools. No one tells you what to do, but the group notices. One of the younger members offers you a stick, a digging tool. You take it. That small gesture means something. You're being observed, and more importantly, accepted, not fully, but cautiously. That's how it begins. Later, when a pair of tribe members sit near the fire, you sit at a respectful distance. Not too close, not too far. You mimic their stillness. One of them glances at you, then continues speaking in quiet, low grunts. You don't understand the language, but you understand the rhythm. The cave is no longer silent. It is communicating all the time, with glances, gestures, and presence. You're learning. Quietly, carefully. Chapter 8. Your first hunt, and probably last. The morning grows brighter, and with it comes a shift in the cave's energy. People are moving quickly now, gathering spears, tying cords, checking stone points. Today is not just another day of survival. Today, there will be a hunt. You feel the tension without anyone explaining it. The air is sharper, movements more urgent. A man hands you a heavy spear. Its shaft is rough, its point shaped from flint. He grunts and gestures. You are expected to come. There is no practice, no instructions, no warm-up. You are simply part of the group now. The hunters gather near the cave entrance. Some carry clubs, others spears or crude knives. There are no bags, no snacks, no guarantees. They move in silence, leaving the weak fire behind. You follow awkwardly, gripping the spear too tightly, already feeling the first twinges of panic. You have no plan, no experience, only the need to keep up. The world outside the cave is vast and cold. The ground is uneven, covered in frost and dry brush. Trees loom in the distance, dark against the pale sky. Your breath fogs as you march, boots made from hide slipping on rocks. The hunters move with quiet confidence, blending into the landscape like shadows. You do your best to copy them, stepping where they step, moving when they move. Every sound you make feels too loud. After a long walk, the group slows. Ahead, grazing near a frozen stream, are large shapes. Reindeer, maybe elk. Hard to tell. All muscle, horn, and wary eyes. The hunters spread out in a wide arc, positioning themselves without speaking. You are motioned to one side. Your heart pounds painfully. You grip the spear tighter, wishing it felt lighter, wishing you could vanish into the grass. This isn't a game. If you fail, you endanger everyone. A sudden shout breaks the air, a sharp, guttural cry. The herd startles, hooves pounding into the frozen ground. The hunters charge. You run because everyone else is running. The cold air tears at your throat. You feel clumsy, heavy, absurd. A reindeer bolts past you, its hooves spraying mud and ice. Another follows. You raise the spear too late. You stumble. You fall. Your body hits the ground hard, knocking the wind from you. When you scramble upright, the hunt is already moving on without you. Spears fly through the air. Shouts echo across the clearing. A large animal stumbles, pierced through the side. The hunters close in quickly. Some finish it off with heavy blows. You watch, frozen, as life drains from the animal in the snow. Blood steams in the cold air. Death here is swift and necessary. No one hesitates. No one wastes a moment mourning. When the hunters regroup, dragging the prize back toward the cave, no one speaks of your failure. They do not mock you. They do not comfort you. They simply do not acknowledge you at all. You limp behind them, battered and humiliated. In this world, success means survival, and mistakes are simply forgotten or buried. You are learning, painfully, that hunting isn't about glory. It's about endurance. And today, you barely endured. Chapter 9. The cold is personal now. The hunt is over, but the day isn't. As the group returns to the cave, the cold begins to settle deeper into your body. It's no longer just a sensation. It's a presence, something alive, creeping under your skin, numbing your fingers, tightening around your chest. Your furs are damp from snow and sweat. The wind finds every weakness in your layers. You try to pull your cloak tighter, but it doesn't help. Nothing helps. You watch the others. They walk with heads low, bodies steady, as if they've long made peace with the cold. Their faces are red and chapped. Their hands are bare. They don't flinch at the gusts of wind that hit like stone. You try to mimic their posture, but your body won't cooperate. Your toes burn, then fade. Your hands tremble. You can't feel your nose. This isn't just weather. It's a test of how long you can stay human. Every step feels heavier now. The cold adds weight, not just to your limbs, but to your thoughts. You stop noticing scenery. The trees are just shapes. The air is just pain. All you can think about is heat, the memory of it, the absence of it. You remember your bed, your shower, the hum of central heating, and none of it matters here. In this time, warmth is not a right. It's a reward for surviving the day. Your jaw is clenched to stop your teeth from chattering. It doesn't work. You want to speak, to ask if this is normal, but your lips won't move properly. Speech is a luxury. You stumble once, nearly falling. No one helps you, not out of cruelty, but because they don't notice. Or they do, and they choose not to intervene. Everyone has felt this cold. Everyone has had to fight through it. This is your turn. The sun begins to dip, casting long shadows across the snowy ground. It should be beautiful, but all you feel is dread. Night will come, and with it, colder air. Deeper cold. You walk faster, chasing the people ahead. Chasing fire. Chasing safety. Your body is shaking now, your vision swimming slightly. You've read about hypothermia. You never thought you'd feel it. But now it's close. Closer than it should ever be. At last, the cave appears, dark, familiar, welcoming in the way a shadow can be when the alternative is endless wind. You enter, collapsing near the fire. It's weak, but to you, it feels like the sun. Someone throws another branch on it. The flame grows. You stretch your hands toward it, desperate to feel again. The warmth comes slowly, painfully. It hurts, but it's the kind of pain that tells you you're still alive. No one praises you. No one comments. The group begins preparing the meat. You sit quietly, fingers twitching back to life. The cold has changed you. Not dramatically, not visibly, but something inside you has shifted. You now understand why every movement in this world is deliberate, why rest is brief, and why fire is sacred. Today, the cold became personal, and tomorrow, it will return whether you're ready or not. Chapter 10. Learning to use pain. You sit by the fire, your body aching from cold, your limbs heavy from effort. Every part of you hurts. Your back, your legs, your feet. Even your jaw from clenching against the wind. Pain used to be something you avoided. Now it's something you carry. Quietly. Constantly. And you're starting to understand something the others already know. Pain isn't a warning here. It's a signal that you're still in the fight. Across the cave, someone tends to a wound. A sharp cut across the forearm, likely from the hunt. No one panics. No one fetches medicine. A strip of hide is torn. The wound is wrapped. A glance. A nod. That's all. The injured man grimaces, then continues sharpening his spear. Pain doesn't stop work. It just joins you, walking beside you, asking nothing and offering even less. This is how people here survive. You shift your legs and wince. Your knee is swollen from the fall during the hunt. There's no ice, no rest, no complaint. You mimic what you've seen. You rip a strip of fur from your own sleeve, bind the joint tightly, and breathe through the sting. It's not expert care, but it's something. You don't ask for help. You don't expect it. That's the rule. Pain is handled. It isn't announced. One of the older women notices your limp. She walks over and presses a stone blade into your hand. You look at it, confused. She points at your knee, then gestures. Cut away the binding and start again. It's too tight, too rushed. You nod, redo the wrap. This time, slower. Better. She nods once, then returns to her place. No words, just instruction. The way people here pass on knowledge, through action and necessity. The fire crackles. Outside, night has taken the sky. The cold returns. The ache returns. But you notice something strange. You're still functioning. Your hands work. Your breath has steadied. Your body, despite everything, keeps going. And with that realization, something shifts inside you. Pain, once a thing to fear, now becomes part of your rhythm. A teacher, not a threat. You think about your old life. A stubbed toe, a headache, a sleepless night. Each one used to feel like a crisis. Here, those don't register. Your definition of suffering is changing, and with it, your resilience. You're learning what the tribe has always known. Pain is not the end of ability. It's the beginning of it. It marks your effort. It measures your growth. It reminds you that you are still here. You lie back against the stone wall, your joints sore, your skin tight with cold. But you are still breathing, still learning, and most importantly, still adapting. Tomorrow, there will be more pain. From hunting, walking, lifting, failing. But now, you'll greet it differently. Not with fear, but with recognition. Because in this world, pain is not weakness. It's proof that you're becoming stronger. Chapter 11. Nightfall in the cave. The sky outside turns darker, shifting from gray to deep black. A final gust of cold wind sweeps into the cave before someone pulls a hide across the entrance. It doesn't close out the cold completely, but it helps. The fire burns low, its flickering light casting long shadows on the walls. You feel the shift, not just in temperature, but in mood. Night in the cave isn't peaceful. It's cautious. It's heavy. It's quiet. People move differently now. Slower. Quieter. The sounds of sharpening tools and hushed grunts fade into low breathing and the soft rustle of hides. One of the elders stacks dry wood nearby. Another tends to the fire with care, not letting the flames grow too tall or fade too much. The balance matters. Too much light might attract danger. Too little, and the cold will creep in. Fire is safety, but too much comfort is a risk. You find your place near the back of the cave, the same patch of stone and fur you started on. It's not softer now, but you've changed. You ease into it with less complaint. The weight of the day presses down on you, not just in your body, but in your thoughts. No one says good night. No one asks how you're feeling. They simply begin to lie down, curling beneath hides, arms crossed over chests, breathing slow and deep. A child beside you mumbles in sleep, then curls closer to an adult. Somewhere near the fire, someone snores. Another coughs. These are the sounds of night, not silence, but shared stillness. You can feel the warmth of the group, not just from the fire, but from the closeness. You're not alone, even if no one touches you. In this world, being near the tribe is the only comfort that exists. You try to sleep, but your thoughts wander. Your mind returns to the day, the hunt, the cold, the pain. You remember your old bed, your old routine. Those things feel distant now, unreachable. The past is a fading echo. Here, the cave hums with breath and heat and ancient quiet. You try to match your breathing to the rhythm around you, like falling into a larger heartbeat. Slowly, your body begins to relax. The fire pops softly. Shadows shift along the walls. You wonder if anyone else is still awake. If anyone else is thinking about survival, about time, about what tomorrow might bring. But no one speaks. No one moves. You are all bound by the same need, to rest enough to survive the next day. Here, sleep is not luxury. It is preparation. The day is gone, but its weight lingers in your bones. You close your eyes. The cold is still there, tucked around the edges of your fur. The stone beneath you is unforgiving, but your body, exhausted and aching, begins to drift. There are no dreams here, just rest, just stillness, just another step in learning how to live in a world where each breath is earned. Night has fallen in the cave, and for now, that is enough. Chapter 12. When the rain comes, you wake before the fire. The air is colder, thicker, and strangely damp. A soft patter echoes through the stone. At first, you don't recognize the sound. Then it becomes unmistakable. Rain. It's falling outside the cave, steady, persistent, and heavy. You sit up slowly. Your furs are damp. The walls sweat with moisture. The cave that once felt like shelter now feels like a sponge, soaking everything, including you. Outside, a gray curtain blurs the world. Rain hammers the earth. Pools form in the low ground, water sliding over rocks and dripping from the roof. The cave leaks in quiet streams, creating puddles that spread across the floor. You shift your sleeping spot, but it's no use. The wet finds you. It clings to your clothes, creeps under your skin, and settles in your bones. The cold is different now. It's deeper, slicker, inescapable. The others stir. No one hurries. There is no point. Rain changes the rhythm of everything. Hunting becomes harder, gathering nearly impossible. Fires struggle to stay lit. The group moves slowly, sharpening tools, weaving fibers, scraping hides. Tasks that can be done inside. You join in, your hands stiff and wet. The tribe doesn't talk about the rain. They endure it, like they endure everything else. A child catches drops in a bowl, trying to drink. A woman braids a soaked cord, her fingers moving as if the weather doesn't exist. You try to copy her movements, but your hands shake. Not from fear, from cold. Wet cold has no edges. It slides into you, quiet and patient, like a warning. There is no towel, no change of clothes, no fire hot enough to dry you fully. You work anyway, because the alternative is to sit and feel it. The rain doesn't stop. It grows heavier. The sky stays dark. The cave begins to feel smaller, the air thicker. Smoke from the fire clings to the damp. You cough. Others do too. Still, no one complains. The group tightens. Bodies huddle closer to the center. You are pulled into the circle, not with a word, but with a gesture, a shared fur tossed toward you, a space made without asking. This is how warmth is given. Quietly, you wrap the hide around yourself, pressed against two others. The dampness remains, but the shared heat makes it bearable. You feel the breathing of the people beside you. You don't know their names, but their presence anchors you. The storm outside roars, but here, inside this huddle of survival, there is silence. Not peace, not comfort, but silence. And that is enough. Rain becomes rhythm. It taps on stone. It echoes in the bones of the cave. You stop expecting it to end. You learn to move through it, around it, with it. You stop dreaming of dryness. You start dreaming of endurance. When the rain comes, it doesn't just test your body. It tests your patience, your presence, your place among the others. And if you can still move, still breathe, still sit in the cold, and try, you pass. Chapter 13. The sound of hunger. The rain still hasn't stopped, and now the hunger begins to speak. Not with words, but with sound. A deep, slow growl from your stomach. You try to ignore it. Everyone else does. But it keeps returning, louder, emptier. Around you, the others are quiet. Not resting. Waiting. Hunger is not a surprise here. It is expected. It arrives like weather, like cold, like time. It is not tragic. It is routine. The cave is low on food. You see it in the glances, the counting of strips, the careful sharing of dried meat. The stew pot remains empty. No one says why. They don't need to. The last hunt yielded little. The weather has made tracking impossible. There is no storage, no pantry, only what was caught, dried, or scavenged. And it's running out. You feel it in your body. But worse, you feel it in the silence. A child begins to cry, not loudly, but in that soft, desperate way. His mother hushes him and offers a bite of bark soaked in broth. He chews it slowly, barely swallowing. The crying stops, not because the hunger is gone, but because the child has learned not to expect more. You watch in stunned quiet. You want to look away, but you don't. Hunger isn't something to be pitted here. It's a lesson. You remember being hungry before, but not like this. Not hollow, not dizzy, not resentful of your own stomach. There is no snack to reach for, no shelf to open, just a space inside you that grows larger with every hour. You try to distract yourself, sharpening a stick, twisting dried grass. But the ache keeps rising. Slow, dull, constant. Hunger doesn't shout here. It hums, like a drum beneath your ribs. The elders eat last. They wait until every child has had something, even if it's barely a bite. Then they take the smallest portions for themselves. No one argues. That's the rule. You offer your share to a girl beside you. She takes it without speaking. That's the other rule. Generosity doesn't get praise here. It gets absorbed, like smoke into air. You feel your own body grow lighter. Not stronger, but quieter. By nightfall, no one speaks. Bellies are empty. Fire is low. Movement slows. Hunger changes the atmosphere. It thickens thought. It steals sound. You don't just feel weak. You feel erased, as if your body is slowly eroding. You lie down without energy, without expectation. The pain doesn't scream. It whispers, less, less, less. You curl into yourself. Sleep does not come quickly, but eventually you drift. And in that drifting state, you learn something vital. Hunger, like cold and pain, does not ask permission. It comes and stays until it's fed, or until you forget what full felt like. You sleep through the night, not peacefully, not warmly, but completely, because your body has chosen stillness over starvation. Tomorrow, you will rise again, not refreshed, but present. And in this world, that is enough. Chapter 14. Fire, Meat, and Memory. Morning arrives not with light, but with smell. Smoke, fat, and something rare, hope. You sit up slowly. Your body still aches. Hunger still lingers. But the sin is real. Meat. Someone returned with meat. A small fire burns at the center of the cave, brighter than usual. Over it, strips of flesh hang on sticks. Cooking, hissing, steaming. It's not a feast, but it's enough to change the mood of the cave. For the first time in days, people lean forward. You don't ask where the meat came from. No one does. A successful hunt? A lucky trap? Scavenged from a carcass? It doesn't matter. In this world, food isn't questioned. It's accepted. You're handed a strip, still steaming. The surface is crisp, the inside pink and chewy. You bite in. The flavor is strong, wild, faintly metallic. But your body doesn't care. It accepts it like a gift, and in some ways, it is. The meat brings more than nourishment. It brings memory. You didn't expect that. But with each bite, you remember things. A kitchen, a meal, a moment with someone now far away. The smell of herbs, the sound of laughter. Things that don't belong here. But they visit you now, carried on the scent of something primal. Fire and meat, the oldest language. A reminder that you once came from warmth. The meat brings more than nourishment. It brings memory. You didn't expect that. But with each bite, you remember things. A kitchen, a meal, a moment with someone now far away. The smell of herbs, the sound of laughter. Things that don't belong here. But they visit you now, carried on the scent of something primal. Fire and meat, the oldest language. A reminder that you once came from warmth. Beside you, an elder chews slowly. His face is unreadable, but his eyes hold something quiet. Maybe memory. Maybe gratitude. Fire crackles, casting his shadow against the stone wall. The whole scene feels ancient, timeless. People gathered, hands extended, breath visible. No music, no talk, just the rhythm of chewing. You've never known a meal to feel this sacred, or this silent. The smallest children are fed first, then the injured, then everyone else. You eat slowly, trying to make it last. Every bite feels like it matters. There's no overeating here, no waste. When the meat is gone, the bones are cracked open. The marrow is scooped and shared. You take your turn. It tastes rich, almost too much, like oil and warmth combined. The others nod. You are learning. Again, after the meal, the cave is different. Not louder, not happier, but calmer. The sharpness of hunger has eased. Pain has stepped back. You can see it in how people sit. Shoulders less tense. Hands slower. Firelight dances on the stone. Someone hums, not a song, just a sound. A child leans against a fur bundle and dozes. You stretch out your legs. For the first time, your body doesn't feel like it's breaking. You stare at the flames, watching how they move, how they change everything around them. Fire gives warmth. Meat gives strength. And both together create memory, not of comfort, but of presence. You are still here. That is the only story the cave tells. But in this moment, it's enough. You close your eyes, the taste of smoke still on your lips. And you remember, not what you had, but that you're still becoming. Chapter 15, Language Without Words. You've been here for days now. Maybe more. Time has blurred, stretched between fires, hunger, sleep, and sky. What hasn't blurred is communication. Because even though no one speaks in full sentences, no one misunderstands. The tribe uses sound, yes, but also silence, glance, gesture. Words are rare. Meaning isn't. You're starting to learn that in this world, language lives in the body, not just the mouth. A grunt can mean move. A nod, gratitude. A hand across the chest, apology. A flick of the eyes toward the cave entrance means danger or preparation. It depends on context, on timing, on rhythm. At first, this confused you. Now, you find it easier, quieter. There is no need to explain everything. No pressure to speak when a glance will do. And that silence, it holds weight. It holds trust. Today, you're helping sort roots and dried herbs. A woman sits beside you, her fingers moving quickly. She doesn't teach with words. She shows. You follow. She glances at your pile, then at your hands. She gestures, corrects. You nod. No one watches. No one claps. But when you finish, she grunts once, short, satisfied. That is praise. And you feel it, deeper than if she'd spoken a full sentence. Later, a man gestures for you to help with the firewood. You fumble the load, dropping 2 branches. He says nothing, just picks one up, hands it back, and walks on. Not rejection, not frustration, just correction. This is the tribe's way. Direct, undramatic. You begin to realize how much noise your old life held. Noise pretending to be clarity. Here, silence holds more truth than most conversations. The children speak more than the adults. High-pitched yelps, small games, mimicked sounds. But even they know when to be quiet. When the wind shifts or the shadows move wrong, silence falls like a blanket. Not from fear, but from memory. Danger is part of the landscape. So the tribe listens, to birds, to trees, to each other. You begin listening too, and slowly, the world begins speaking. At night, around the fire, one of the elders begins to hum. Not a song, a sound, low and long, rising then falling. Another joins in, then a third. You don't know the meaning, but your body responds. It feels like mourning, or history, or both. The fire pops. The cave holds the sound like it's sacred. It might be, because in a world with few words, sound becomes something else. Something holy. You lie down, head resting on a folded hide. You think about everything you haven't said, and how little has been lost in that silence. You've learned names without letters, built trust without promises, been corrected, praised, warned, and welcomed without a single hello. In this world, language doesn't live in your tongue. It lives in your actions. And slowly, you're becoming fluent. Chapter 16. The first cut that matters. The day begins like any other, cold, gray, and cautious. You help carry firewood, scrape bark, and mend a split cord. It feels almost routine now. Then it happens. A moment too fast to stop. A slip of the hand. A sharp stone edge. A slice across your palm. You freeze. The pain is instant, hot, and stinging. Blood wells up, dark and alarming. You've been hurt before, but here, it's different. Here, blood means risk. You stare at the cut, unsure what to do. In your old life, you'd reach for antiseptic, bandages, comfort. None of that exists here. Just bark, fur, fire. You cover the wound with your other hand, pressing it closed. Blood seeps between your fingers. Someone notices, one of the elders. He walks over, looks once, then kneels. Without speaking, he tears a strip from his hide tunic and takes your hand. He cleans the cut with cold water from a pouch. It stings. You wince. He doesn't pause. He sprinkles ash into the wound. A natural antiseptic, maybe, or maybe just tradition. Then he binds it with firm, practiced hands. It's not gentle, but it works. You nod in thanks. He grunts once, stands, and walks away. That's it. No speech. No sympathy. Just care. It's the first time you've truly been treated. And it means something. The others saw it. They return to their work. But you feel different. Changed. Because now you carry a mark. A wound. Something the tribe respects, even silently. They have all bled. All been cut. And now, you have too. Pain here doesn't isolate. It inducts. You've joined the quiet fraternity of the injured. Not weakened, but tested. And still standing. You flex your fingers. The bandage holds. The wound still burns. But under the pain is something else, a strange pride. You didn't cry out. You didn't run. You let someone help you without flinching. In this world, that is a kind of strength. Not loud, not showy, just durable. You sit by the fire and press your hand to your chest. Not out of pain, but as a silent thank you. To the elder, to yourself. That night, as the wind howls outside, you catch the eye of the same elder. He gives a brief nod. You nod back. Nothing more. But it's a connection, small, earned, and real. You've been seen, not as a visitor, not as a mistake, but as someone who felt pain, bled, and kept going. And in this world, that's enough to earn a kind of quiet belonging. You sleep with your wounded hand tucked close, wrapped in fur, cradled like something precious. It still hurts, but now the pain has meaning. It's no longer a sign of weakness. It's proof that you're healing, that you're learning, that your place here was never about being perfect. It was always about staying, even when it hurts. Chapter 17. The first laugh. The day is quiet. No hunt, no storm, just gray skies and the slow rhythm of survival. You're sitting by the fire, sharpening a stick when it happens. A clumsy child chasing a chicken, or whatever the prehistoric version of a chicken is, stumbles into a basket and flips it entirely over himself. He pops his head out, stunned, covered in moss and bark scraps. You don't mean to laugh, but it escapes you. Sharp, real. Everyone looks. You freeze, thinking you've done something wrong. But then, something rare. Someone else laughs. A short bark of amusement from one of the hunters. Then another. The child giggles too, unharmed, proudly tangled. And suddenly, the cave shifts. The air feels lighter. The fire crackles louder. Laughter isn't common here. But when it comes, it's contagious. It spreads like warmth. You've laughed before, but not like this. Not after hunger. After cold. After pain. This laugh doesn't rise from comfort. It rises from endurance. You survived enough to laugh again. That's what makes it holy. Others smile, small, careful things. But you see them. One woman even covers her mouth to hide it. The elder who bandaged your hand shakes his head, but his eyes are brighter now. The child stands, triumphant in his mess. Someone tosses a fur over him playfully. He wears it like a cape and stomps in circles, exaggerated and proud. The tribe chuckles again. It doesn't last long, but it doesn't need to. In this world, joy isn't constant. It arrives like rain in a drought, sudden, strange, and deeply felt. And today, it chose to show up in the middle of moss and spilled roots. You realize something important. Laughter here isn't for entertainment. It's for relief. A pressure valve. A reminder that even in this harsh, biting world, humor survives. Playfulness exists. You've seen death, hunger, pain. But now, finally, you've seen joy. Raw and wild. And you didn't have to earn it. It just came. Like breath. Like warmth. Like grace. Later, when the fire is low and everyone has settled again, someone mimics the child's tumble. A slight sway of the shoulders, a fake gasp. Another chuckle ripples through the group. It's a memory already. A shared one. Not just survival, but story. And for the first time, you realize how stories are born here. Not in writing, but in repetition, rhythm, and laughter. The tribe remembers joy by replaying it. That night, as you lie under your fur, your lips curve up before sleep takes you. A smile. Honest. Unforced. You're still hungry. Still sore. But tonight, you laughed. And that laugh lives in the cave now, echoing in the stone, tucked in with the fire's last sparks. You felt many things since arriving here. Cold. Pain. Silence. But now, finally, you felt belonging. Chapter 18. When the sky turns red. It starts as a glow. Faint, far away, just above the trees. Not sunrise. Not firelight. A strange red halo blooming against the early evening sky. At first, no one moves. Then someone stands. Then another. You rise too. Everyone walks to the cave mouth in silence. There, in the distance, the horizon burns. Red. Orange. Thick streaks of smoke twist toward the clouds. Not a sunset. A fire. A large one. You don't know what's burning. A forest? A camp? A threat? The tribe doesn't explain. They simply watch. Eyes narrowed. Faces still. The red light stains their skin, turns every expression into something ancient. You feel it in your chest, a tightening. A tension, like the earth is holding its breath. Something is wrong. And even if it's far away, the sky says, prepare. One of the hunters shoulders his spear. Another ties a pack tighter. The women gather children and check their furs. No panic, no chaos, just readiness. This is not new to them. Distant danger is always possible. The world doesn't need a reason. It simply shifts. And when it does, the tribe doesn't ask why. They ask how far, how fast, and how ready they are to move. You stand there, trying to remember the last time a red sky meant beauty to you. A city sunset, a photo, a moment of peace. But here, red means burn. Red means loss. Red means someone's night just ended. The smell of smoke reaches you, faint but sharp. The air tastes different now. Ash, dread, change. You feel it settle in your throat like a warning. Like truth, night falls with a nervous silence. The fire is kept small. No one sleeps deeply. You lie awake, listening. Every crack of wood, every shift of the wind feels louder. Your body wants to rest, but your mind is alert, stretched thin like raw string. You've known discomfort. You've known pain. But this is suspense. The kind that crawls into your bones and refuses to leave. At some point, you hear footsteps. Not from the forest. From inside. A quiet meeting. Low voices. Decisions. You can't understand the words, but the tone is clear. The tribe is planning. Routes. Rations. What to carry. What to leave behind. You are not asked to join. But you understand. You are not just surviving anymore. You are preparing. For movement. For defense. For what the red sky might bring. By morning, the glow is gone, but the smoke remains. A gray haze over the trees. You rise, pack your bundle, and look to the others. No one says the word danger. They don't need to. It's in the air, in the sky, in the way everyone moves today, faster, quieter, ready. The red sky may have faded, but its message remains. And so does your place among them. You're not just watching the horizon anymore. You're part of the response. Chapter 19. The move. The decision is made. The cave will be left behind. No one says it outright, but you see it in motion. Bundles packed, spears tied, furs rolled tight. There's no ceremony, no goodbye, just preparation. You follow the rhythm, copying what you've learned. Wrap your tools, layer your clothes, carry what matters, leave what doesn't. Survival doesn't wait for sentiment. It walks when the sky says walk. Children are hoisted onto backs. The injured lean into the strong. No wagons, no wheels, just bodies, furs, and fire carried in embers. You're handed a pack. It's heavier than expected, but you don't flinch. Not now. The elder who once treated your hand nods at you. Approval. You nod back. The tribe moves as one. No loud orders, just motion. You're part of it now. Not leading, not following, flowing. The forest swallows you quickly. Trees rise like stone pillars. Mud sucks at your feet. Birds scatter. You walk in silence. Only the sounds of breath, footfall, and the occasional grunt. Rain clings to branches. Cold leaks into your bones again. But this time, you know what to expect. You tighten your cloak, adjust your grip. You walk, not like a guest, but like someone who has walked before. The old cave fades behind you. It held pain, fire, hunger, laughter. Now it's memory. Ahead, nothing is promised. No new shelter, no map, just direction. The tribe trusts the land, follows signs you barely see, tracks wind, bird flight. You ask nothing. You listen. You move. Somewhere between trees and sky, you realize something. This journey isn't panic. It's tradition. They've done this before. They will again. You pass a stream, cold and fast. The tribe drinks, washes faces, fills hides. No one lingers. You do the same. The water stings your fingers, but it wakes you up. You're hungry again, but it's a dull hunger now, familiar, managed. You tighten your belt. Watch a child skip stones. Even now, there's room for small joy. A reminder that even when moving, life still lives. By midday, the trees open into a clearing. The sun breaks through, casting light on flattened grass and old ashes. A past camp. Maybe theirs. Maybe another's. It doesn't matter. What matters is space. Shelter. Fire. The group pauses. Packs fall. Shoulders roll. A sigh, not of relief, but of readiness. The site becomes home within minutes. Fire rebuilt. Stones gathered. The cycle resumes. You help where you can, gathering wood, stacking stones, unrolling hides. No one tells you what to do. You just do. The cold returns with the breeze. But the fire rises. People settle. The tribe has moved. You have moved. And nothing broke. Nothing was lost. Because home isn't a place here. It's motion, memory, firelight on new stone. And you, walking, helping, becoming. Chapter 20. You wouldn't last a day. You've made it this far. Through cold, hunger, silence, pain. You've bled, laughed, walked, slept on stone, learned without words. You've carried fire, shared meat, moved without question. There were no instructions, no help menus, no resets, only instinct and effort. And now, as you sit beside this new fire, smoke rising into a darkening sky, you understand the joke. The one you made when this began. You wouldn't last a day, you said. Back when this was theory. When the Middle Ages were just grit and grime on a screen. When hardship was content. When people joked about surviving in old worlds as if it were cosplay. As if it were a game. You thought you wouldn't last. But you did. One day, then another, and another. Not by beating the world, but by letting it beat you and standing back up anyway. You look at your hands. Scarred, calloused, still healing, but strong now. Not soft, not clean, real. You've touched bark, blood, stone, fire. You've learned that strength doesn't shout. It endures. You've learned that survival isn't a roar. It's a whisper that keeps going. Every day, every hour, even when no one's watching. Especially then, around you, the tribe moves. Small rituals, quiet motions, nothing dramatic. But each one says something. We are still here, still alive. The sky may fall, the cold may return, but we will eat. We will work. We will carry children on our backs and stories in our hands. You sit in that silence, that unspoken strength, and for the first time, you don't feel like a visitor. You feel like someone who belongs. There were moments you wanted to quit, times your body trembled, times the pain screamed louder than the fire. But you didn't stop. You adapted. You learned to love the small warmth, the soft sounds, the hard truths. You learned that joy doesn't have to be loud. That pain can be survived. That home can be nothing more than a circle of people and a single flame. So when someone looks at you now, in the modern world, in the comfort of electricity and choice, and says, "You wouldn't last a day," you'll smile. Not because they're wrong, but because they don't understand. No one lasts a day in this world. Not clean, not whole, not untouched. But if you listen, if you bend, if you bleed and laugh and keep walking, you last. You survive. Not perfectly, but truthfully. And that's the secret. No one in history ever lasted a day. They lived it. They hurt. They endured. They kept going with broken hands and hollow stomachs and hope stitched into every step. That's what you did. That's what you've become. So maybe the question isn't whether you'd last a day. It's whether you'd learn from it. And now you have. If you're still awake, thank you for traveling back with me. And if you're already asleep, then you've done exactly what this story was meant for. Either way, I'm glad you were here. New stories await whenever you're ready. So close your eyes, take one last deep breath, and let the world fade. Until next time, sleep well.